Today we're going to practice multiplying by two-digit numbers. The first strategy that we're going to try is the box method. Then we're going to move into partial products, and then we're going to show you the old school way. So the problem that I'm going to do first, actually for all of them, I'm going to do 73 times 58. So here I have two-digit by another two-digit. You could also use this for three-digit times two-digit. So one of the factors being more than one digit. So for the box method, the first thing that we're going to do in the box method is draw our box. So I'm going to start by just drawing a square or rectangle. And now I'm going to take my two factors and write them on the top and the side. So I'm going to take 73 and 58. It does not matter which order. I could also write 73 here and 58 on the top. Again, it does not matter. I'll just do this one. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at expanded form for each of these numbers. I'm going to ask myself, what is this number in expanded form? Well, the first number, 73, is 70 plus 3. You'll understand why I'm color coding it in a moment. 58 is 50 plus 8. Now what you're going to do is you're going to make a line by the plus sign. So there's a plus sign, so I'm going to make a line here. Here's another plus sign, so I'm going to make a line here. And here it makes a giant plus sign. So here you can see I have my giant plus sign where my plus signs are. Now, every box is going to have a mini multiplication problem in it. The idea of the box method is breaking down those numbers into numbers that are a lot easier to multiply by. So this is the row right here. Is the row of 50. So the row of 50 is going to have 50 in it. And here is the row of 8. Here's the row of red 8s. Here is the column of yellow 70s. And here is the column of green 3s. These are now my mini multiplication problems. So the first thing I'm going to ask myself is, what is 50 times 70? Well, I know that 5 times 7 is 35, and I have a 0 in my factor here and a 0 in my factor here, so I'm going to have two zeros. So 3,500. 50 times 3. Well, I know 5 times 3, that's 15. I have one 0 in my factor, so I'm going to tag along my 0, 150. Then I have 8 times 70. So another way of making sure that you know how to multiply by zeros is just remembering that when you have one 0, you have to have that 0 in the product. If you are multiplying and you have two zeros in your factors, then you are going to have two zeros in your product. So I know that 8 times 7 is 56. And I have one 0 in my factor. So I'm going to make sure I have one 0 in my product. Okay. Next, 8 times 3. That is a fact that you should, in one of your times tables that you should just have memorized. So you should know like right automatically that it's 24. And now here I have all of my, I guess these are technically partial products. But the next step to do here is going to be to add them all together because they're all pieces of the numbers that were broken apart, so we have to piece them all back together. So I should have 3,500, 150, 560, and 24. So I'm going to add all of these up. I have 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 is 4. I have 5 plus 6, which is 11. Plus 2 is 13. Carry the 1. We have to regroup. 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 plus 5 is 6 here, so this is 12. Regroup again. 4,234 is the correct answer. Now, let's keep going into the partial products. So partial products, I want you to think of the pyramid one or the place value one, because that's what this is going to look like. So you first want to set up your problem by stacking. And now this is what we're going to do. We first have to multiply the 8 by 3 ones and by 7 tens. Then we're going to have to multiply the 5 by 3 ones and 7 tens. So let's do it. 8 times 3 ones is 24, because that's just 8 times 3. Then we have 8 again times 7 tens, which is 8 times 70, which is 560. Now, we're not done yet. We have to continue. We have to now multiply 5 tens times 3 ones. 5 tens is 50 times 3, which is 150. And then we have to multiply the 5 tens by 7 tens. 5 tens times 7 tens is 50 times 70, which is 5 times 7 is 35. Then you take your zeros. Now I add these all up, and this is the same as this up here. Do you see that? Just reversed. And I will come up with the same answer. This is just a little bit of a different way of looking at it. Again, you want to make sure that you are multiplying the 8 by both parts, the 8 ones by 3 ones by 7 tens, and then you're also multiplying the 5 tens. Oops, that's the eraser tool. I don't want that. You're also multiplying the 5 tens by the 3 ones and the 7 tens. Okay. Now here's old school. So old school multiplication is a way that your parents might be familiar with it. Again, you set up your old school problem as such. There's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. It's just kind of like rote memorization. So just you memorize how to do the steps, and then you see if you like it. So first things first, I'm going to take 8 times 3. So 8 times 3 is 24, so I'm going to take the 4 up here, and the 2 is going to go on top as a plus 2. Now 7 times 8 is 56, and I'm going to add 2. So 56, 57, 58. So I'm going to write 58 here. Now I'm going to put a 0 as a placeholder. You could put whatever you want here, but this is nothing. You have to put a placeholder in the ones. And now you continue. You do the same thing, 5 times 3, and then 7 times 5. So 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, so I put a 5 down here. Now, 5 times, the problem is now I'm going to have a plus 1. This plus 2 is already done. We already used that one, so we don't need that anymore. So because it was a 15, now there's a plus 1. So 5 times 7 is 35, plus 1 is 36. So I'm going to write 36 here. Now, when I add this all together, 4 plus 0 is 0. Then when I have the next set of numbers, we have to do the 8 plus 5, which is 13. Carry that 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 2. That's 12, I mean. Carry the 1, and you have the same answer. This old school is totally not preferred because it's a little bit confusing and you have to memorize all these steps. Plus, there's this whole thing right here of having to put a placeholder in order to shift all your place value numbers over to the left. So this one's a little bit more complicated, but again, this is a way that your parents might recognize. you multiply here first, and then you kind of have to erase, like I had my +2 up here before, and then we kind of have to cross it off that we did it, and then you might accidentally keep it on there and then think you have to add +2 again, but you don't. And then you have to do the 5 times the 3, and then the 7 times the 5, plus whatever 5 times 3 was when you had to regroup. So it's definitely more complicated. I don't prefer it, but this is another method if you liked it. And those are our 3 strategies for multiplying by 2-digit numbers.